All right, so let's show you something here. Now, yesterday we spoke about the Chofetz Chaim, what the Chofetz Chaim said. I want to go back to Lamed Beis Tes, and then I want to show you something a little bit more razzle-dazzle today. We'll have a good time. Top of page 172. Vayira Yaakov Mod. Yaakov was very afraid. Vayitzer lo. He had a lot of distress. Vayachatz es ha'om asher ito v'esatzon v'esabog ragvam v'shnei machanos. He divides the camp in half. All right, now you're going to have to see this inside, gentlemen. This one not, but the next thing we do, you're going to have the Chumash inside, page 172. So Rashi here is right in the middle. It's a right column. So Rashi says it'll remain al korcho, against Esav's will. One camp will remain ki elochem imo, because I will battle with him. Now pay attention to the next words of Rashi. Hiskin atzmo l'shlosha dvorim. Yaakov prepared himself for three things, three matters. Lidoron, a gift. Litfila, for prayer. Ulemilchama. Yaakov prepares himself to encounter Esav. He's going to take three steps. He's preparing for three eventualities. Number one, he's prepared for war. Number two, first he actually says he's prepared for a gift. Remember, he sends him a gift. Number two, for tefillah. And number three, for war. And then he shows you how each one, where he's prepared. Lidoron, it's because he sends him. L'milchama, because right now. And Litfila, later on, we'll see, says a prayer. So the commentaries say like this, Esav represents the evil inclination, his ministering angel. Do you know, by the way, who's the ministering angel of the Jewish people? Which Malach is the Malach of Klal Yisrael? Called the Malach Michael. The Malach Michael is considered to be the ministering Malach, the ministering angel of the Jewish people. Esav, he has a ministering angel, which is the Satan himself, the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, the angel of death. They're all one. That's Esav, ministering angel. Okay. So when we confront Esav, Esav represents our daily battle, war, encounter, confrontation with evil inclination every day, all day, every day. The Gemara says a man's evil inclination renews himself every day. He's there waiting for us, fighting us on a regular basis. There are three approaches we use in battling the Yetzer Hara. The first is a gift. What does it mean to give a gift to the Yetzer Hara? We give a gift to the Yetzer Hara. The gift. Okay, compromise is a tricky word because we're not allowed to. Certain things are ours to compromise. Certain things are not ours to compromise. So how could you compromise with the evil inclination? He's trying to get you to sin. If you compromise by definition, you've crossed the line into his turf.
Give something that he thinks that he was, even though.
Meaning what?
You tell, like, for example, I heard an example that, let's say the Yetzer Hara wants you to do something. You say, okay, I'll do it, but tomorrow, and then. Okay,
that's one way, but that's really a deception. That's not because you don't intend to do it. The compromise is that each person has to know himself very well. There's the black area, the white area, and there's the gray area in the middle. And there's an area where I would really prefer to be a little stronger in. Let's say chocolate cake. I don't need chocolate cake. It's not necessarily healthy for me. It's an indulgence. Am I on the level where I can avoid it? Am I on the level where I can avoid indulging? Sometimes where the Yetzer Hara is trying to get me to sin, if I don't indulge in that, and again, the word indulge sounds a little over. If I don't at least treat myself to something permissible, if I restrict myself too much, then when I lose control, then I may plunge into an area which is forbidden. And therefore you have to give him a gift, what we call a gift to the Satan. That means, you know what? I'll eat some chocolate cake. See that? I just turned it into a mitzvah. How do you like that? As soon as you leave the class, go eat some chocolate cake. I just turned it into a mitzvah. In other words, on a personal level, I have to know where I'm holding. I'm not the Vilna Gaon. The Vilna Gaon used to eat bread. He would put it in his mouth, chew it the minimal amount of times necessary in order to be able to swallow it, and then swallow it to try to not get any benefit or pleasure from the eating whatsoever. To try to detach himself from any sort of material pursuits whatsoever, because he's the Vilna Gaon. Right? Sam, not the Vilna Kaplan, the Vilna Gaon, right? At his level, he felt he should not indulge. Now, for us, that's why we're not the Vilna Gaon. At our level, I know you're going to quote, there's a Gemara that says a man will be accountable for every pleasure that was available, and he didn't participate. And there are a million people quote that Gemara, nobody even knows where it is. It happens to be a Yerushalmi. And that's the one thing that people have learned about Judaism. Aren't they? I'm gonna be accountable for pleasures I didn't participate in. So why do you? Okay, you're also accountable for other things. There's a long list before we get there. That's a Gemara, and let's talk about certain people at certain levels. Here, what we're saying is, I need to be able to deal with this guy. If you become sometimes in life, if you're too rigid and you crack, you break in half. You got to be a little flexible. That flexibility. That's why you said the word compromise. It's a compromise, but only in a permissible area. I'm trying to work on something, but I better not be too rigid. There's a pasuk in Mishnah that says, don't be too smart. The pasuk in Mishnah says, don't be too smart. Because if you're too smart, you're going to end up being foolish. And therefore, the first thing I got to do is give him a gift. Give him a little bit. But you have to know yourself well. I always tell people the best way, there's what we need and what we want. And the judge of what a man needs versus what he wants, where that line is his wife. What I need is to do a little reading at night to relax. What I want is about 3 hours of a little reading, right? What she says I need is about 15 minutes. Now there's a gap over there, right? And we paskin like her. Because I obviously know what I want, right? What I want is without limit. But there's what I need. I need to relax a little bit. Everybody needs to relax. That's the gift of the son. To be too tense, be too tough on yourself, then you're going to end up crying. I just had a kid came to me in the other yeshiva last night. The kid was pushing himself very hard. He's doing very well. Yeshiva, regular mainstream yeshiva. Kid came to me last night, and he looked a little. I don't want to call it distraught, but he looked a little rattled. And he said to me, Rabbi, yeshiva's hard. And I said, you're pushing yourself very hard. And sometimes you shouldn't push yourself hard. Sometimes sit a little longer in the lunchroom, have another piece of schnitzel, go out for, play some ball. Do something to relax yourself so that you don't feel overwhelmed by this. It is a mistake that Baalei Teshuvos often make. Baalei Teshuvos will often take on too much, too fast. They know better than everybody else, and they see the gates of Gehenna open in front of them, and they're frummer than the rabbis. And the next thing you know, they crack and they end up leaving because they've been too tough. That's the gift. The second thing is war. We have to fight the Yetzer Hara. That's where we can't compromise. There's certain things I can't do. You just can't eat it. It's treif. You can't eat it. I'm going to have to fight them. I'm going to muster up all my strength. And the third thing is tefillah, because nothing goes without prayer. You have to daven. Hashem should help you in the battle against the Yetzer Hara. We say these tefillahs every morning. We say, please save me from the Yetzer Hara and save me from bad influences. We say these in the regular davening. That's what Yaakov Avinu is preparing for. That's what Yaakov Avinu is preparing for over here. He's preparing to confront the evil inclination on three levels. Number one. Okay? Now, let's go and see what Yaakov Avinu does. Now, I want to show you a little bit. This is certainly not the plain meaning, but it's a lot of this comes from the Ben Ish Chai. And he, Ben Ish Chai not only was a master of halacha, he was a master of Torah, Chumash, and everything else. But take a look. Let's take a look at what Yaakov Avinu does. Okay? So Yaakov Avinu prepares. And then in Pasuk Yud Daled, it's about 8 lines from the top. In Pasuk Yud Daled, it says like this. Vayolan Sham, it's about 8 lines from the bottom of the page. Pasuk Yud Daled. Vayolan Sham balaylahu, Yaakov sleeps on that night. Vayikach min haba biyado mincha le'esav achiv. He takes from that, how does the article translate? I want to get a very precise translation here. Literally, it means he takes from that which had come to his hand. Okay. That which had come into his hand. In other words, cattle. Vayikach min haba biyado mincha le'esav achiv. He takes a gift for Esav, his brother. Now look what the gift is going to be. Izim masayim, 200 goats. Usyoshim esrib. And 200 female goats. What are they called? Goatresses? Usyoshim esrib, and 20 goats. 20 male goats. Is there any difference between male goats and female? You just call them goats, I get. Okay. Rechelim masayim, 200 female sheep. Ve'elim esrim, and 20 rams. And Rashi points out he took it in a precise ratio of the amount of males to females, because in the animal kingdom, when a female gets pregnant, she will no longer accept a male. So one male could impregnate 200. If you have 200 female goats, you have 20 male goats. What is a 10 to 1 ratio? Gimalim menikos, nursing camels. Uvnehem means their husbands in this context. Shloshim, 30, 1 per 1. Poros arboim, 40 female cows. uporim asora, and 10 bulls. Asonos esrim, 20 donkeyettes, ve'ayorim asora, and 10 donkeys. Okay, those are the gifts. He sends units of 5. 5 units of gifts that he sends to Esav. We're going to come back and we're going to scrutinize these gifts very, very, very well. Vayiten biyad avadav, he puts them in the hands of a servant, eder levado, each flock by itself. Vayomer avadav ivru lefanav, go ahead, pass it to him. V'revach tasimu bein eder uvein eder, but leave a gap between each. In other words, don't bring it all at once. Bring it all one thing, and then another thing, and then another flock, because a person who is receiving gifts, it's always more fun to open a lot of gifts, even if they're a little smaller, than just one big gift, right? Ooh, a gift. You know, you gift wrap, wow, you know, another. And so the assumption is Esav is a materialistic person, and as he sees the first group coming, he'll like, wow, you know, wow. And as he look at, wow, there's more, you know, and they keep coming. And that's a way of working on Esav. And more than that, it's slowly but surely softening him up. You soften him up by giving him one gift. Remember, he's in a rage right now, and he gets a gift. Who's this from? From Yaakov. Oh, another. Who's this from? Yeah. Oh, no kidding. Yeah, Yaakov. Wow. You know, and slowly but surely, you're going to soften him up. Now, there's even something remarkable here. See anything strange? What's the first gift, the first group of animals that he sends them? Look again very well now at Pasuk 15. What's the first group he gives them? Goats. Anything strange about that?
They're not exciting?
They're not exciting. I mean, you know, depends which goats you hang around with, but you know, what you know.
For sacrifices.
They go for sacrifice. Anything else?
Barbecue?
Barbecue? I don't know. I've never had goat meat. Something else? Something that sounds you peculiar? Sending him goats as a gift?
Did he not wear goats?
Yes, very good, Sam. Very good, Sam. Guy wants to kill you. He's upset with you for stealing his birthright. How did you steal the birthright? With goat skins. So what do you send him as a gift? Have a goat. You know, yeah. It's like a guy you're upset with. A guy's upset with you because you once, you know, you borrowed his car and you got it smashed up and you never paid for it. The guy's upset with you for a long time. And you want to make up the guy, so you send him a model of a smashed up car. Right? Hi, Ralph. Haven't seen you in a while. Here, have a model of an accident, you know, demolition derby. You know, you send him a game. Let's play demolition derby after you demolish this car. It's not the smart. I mean, what were you thinking? Of all things, and it's the first thing he's going to see. He hasn't seen Yaakov in 20 years. What's the first thing he's going to see? He's going to see goats. Right? Isn't that interesting? By the way, now look at the previous pasuk. That's why the Torah said earlier on pasuk Tesvav. Remember, I said I wanted a precise translation. Vayikach min haba biyodo min chalei. He took from that which came to his hands. What's that referring to? From the goat skins which are on his hands. Remember the goat skins? Vayikach min haba biyodo. Easy masayim. No accidents here. So the Ben Ish Chai explains, if I understood him correctly, what he's saying is like this. Sometimes in life, I know my father once told me he was when he was a young man, and him and my mom, they were first married. They were with another couple, and the guy they were driving, I think, to Florida. The guy ran off the highway, went down into a ravine. They all were lucky to walk away alive. They got the car back on the highway. My dad told the guy, drive. The guy didn't want to, he was nervous. He said, drive. Because he knew if he doesn't drive, then he'll never drive again. So he had to show him, you got confidence in you, drive. Sometimes in life, the acid test of where's the guy holding? Dafka. Specifically the area where I know you're sore. It's going to have to come up some point or other. Let's get there. Let's see how you respond to that. If you could get past seeing goats, that'll test. Number one, that'll test. Are you past it or you're not past it? Are you past it or you're not past it? That's the test. Send them goats. Let's see how we respond to seeing goats. Number one. Number two, he doesn't say this. I think that psychologically, the fact that I show you that I could send you a model of a smashed up car shows you I have so much confidence in your power of forgiveness. I could even show you that I can send you this. I know you won't get upset. Psychologically, I'll psych you out and show you I know you won't get upset. Because sometimes in life, the thing that's most irritating in life, this is very irritating, and in marriage, this could drive men crazy, is where you're working on something, usually anger. Women do not like husbands' anger. That's always the top thing. When girls check on shidduchim with guys, girls call up to find out a guy, what's he like, this, that, does he get angry? So my answer to girls always, as I said, I'm sure he does. I don't know anybody who doesn't. Right? So if you're looking for a guy who never gets angry, that's not on this planet. Now, does he throw chairs and get violent when he's angry? No, I've never seen him do that. I don't think he's the type who would. And not only that, I don't even think he yells when he gets angry. But does he get angry? Of course he gets angry. Well, you know anybody who doesn't get angry? So sometimes in a family situation, you're working on something, and the most irritating thing is when somebody questions the very thing you're working on. Your daughter, your 16-year-old comes over and asks you for money. You give her money. She comes over again and asks you for money. You give her money. Graciously. Then she comes over and says, Dad, yeah, what do you want? Well, I want to ask you for some money, but I'm worried you're going to get upset. That will get me upset. I've just shown you that I don't get upset. I could give you money without getting upset. And now you're implying, you understand how maddening that can be. When you're working on something and somebody implies that they haven't even seen me working on it, so what should I work on it? So forget it, I won't give you money. Either way, you don't appreciate the fact that I'm working on it. That's why, and that's also a trick. You're falling into the trap. That's the danger. Sometimes you will fall into this trap. I can guarantee you. As much as anything in this uncertain world can be guaranteed. Someday, usually in the beginning of marriage, your wife, after you get married, and in the beginning everything is great. Then you start taking each other for granted, and you start bickering and everything else. And one day your wife's going to say to you, Alex, you never agree with anything I say. And you're going to say to her, that's not true. And she's going to say, even now. And you're going to step right into it. And you're going to say, oh, that's what Kaplan was talking about. You're going to step right into it. Right? That happens, okay? Yaakov says, you know what? I'm going to send him some goats. Let's see how he handles that. I'll show him, not only I'll see how he handles it, but he'll see that I'm so confident, Esav, you're such a gracious guy. I know that you're not even upset with me anymore. That also could work, okay? So the first thing he sends him is goats, okay? Now, ready to do some math? Ready to do some math without a calculator? Without your what do you call it? Okay. So the Vayishlach says like this. Let's do a little bit of math over here. He sends him, now Rashi says he sent it in a ratio. He sends it in a ratio. By the way, one of the reasons he sends it in a ratio is to also demonstrate to Esav, this is a well-thought-out gift. There's nothing like a gift. You get a gift from somebody who obviously, sometimes some people will give you a gift, which means they put zero time, effort, or thought into what they wanted to buy you. I think, what's his name, Seinfeld? I think it was Seinfeld. He has this routine about people give you for your birthday, give you a paperweight, something to hold down papers on your desk. He goes, that's like announcing, I didn't feel like putting any thought into your gift. Why? Have you got a draft in your house where papers are just flying around all over the place? So they buy you a paperweight. So Yaakov wants to show Esav, you know what? I didn't just happen to grab something randomly. Look how much thought I put into this gift. It's a self-perpetuating flock. You'll have, the flock will increase, perfect male to female proportion. Okay? That's what the commentaries say. Now, the Vayishlach says like this. Let's do some math. There are 200 female goats, 20 male goats. That means on a 1-to-1, 20 female goats have partners, right? 20 male goats have partners. How many spare females does that leave? 180, okay? The same thing when it comes to sheep. You have 200 to 20. How many spares does that leave? What are we up to? 180, 360, okay? Camels were 30 and 30, so there are no spares, okay? Cows were 40 to 10. So how many spares are there? 30, 390. Donkeys were 20 to 10. So how many spares are there? 400. Oh, isn't that interesting? 400 spare females, right? What's he sending a message? No, what's he sending a message to Esav? He's saying, in this beautiful, well thought out gift, he's telling Esav, by the way, what I think of your men is a bunch of females. That's what I think of them. I'm not impressed. That's his preparation for battle. He's sending a subtle message. Yes, I think, what do you call it? Yes, here's a gift. Yes, grace, great, gracious. But sometimes a gift also has a certain subtle message in the gift that, it's like your friend sends you a gift, and then the gift is like here's a photo album. You know, Sam, I don't want you to be upset at me, so here's a photo album of me winning the black belt tournament in judo. All right, there it is, Sam. It's even got a really nice expensive album. It's an album of me winning a judo black belt, right? And then Sam gets you get a double. Wow, that's a really nice photo album. I think I'll be heading in the other direction. That's it. By the way, we had a guy here at Orsameh who was a 2-time judo champion in the United States. He was a two-time American judo. That's not like being an Israeli. We had the Israeli racquetball champion here. The guy who won the Israeli racquetball champion. The Israeli racquetball champion means he beat 6 other guys at the local YMCA. That was the Israeli racquetball championship. American judo champion means that he's a real, this guy's for real. So this guy once told me, he was standing in the hallway, and he was talking about New York. So I mentioned something about Chicago. So the guy says to me, Chicago, what's so great about Chicago? He told me he was in Chicago, and this is an unbelievable story. He said he was in Chicago one time visiting a friend of his, and a black guy high on methadone. I think methadone.
Methamphetamine.
So whatever it was, meth. He called it meth. It was a methadone. This guy was high on meth, broke into the apartment, and it was the middle of the night. This guy happened to be sleeping there. This 2-time judo champion. It says the guy broke in with a screwdriver and started stabbing, and there was a fight. And he got stabbed up. He managed to disarm him, and he rendered him unconscious. And he told me he was standing over him. He's all pumped up now. The guy's all pumped up. His adrenaline's pumping. He's bleeding. He told me he had a very strong battle that he had to fight. He was standing over the guy and was trying to decide whether he should kill him or not. That was his battle. He's standing over the guy, and so in the end, he restrained himself wisely and called the police. That was his battle. Right? So sometimes, Yaakov sends Esav a gift over here. By the way, this is what I really think of you. I'm going through this because I have to go through this. But at the end of the day, if I have to fight you and you got a bunch of women with you, I'll fight the whole bunch of you. That's underlying the message. Now,
did Esav know this message or not? Did he understand?
Again, sometimes the commentators, it's a good question. Sometimes the commentators, these are at either a conscious, some sort of subconscious or deep subconscious level. There's something called subliminal advertising, which where they used to take in the movies, they would slip in a screen. Ted, you probably saw this. They probably was still legal back in your day, possibly in my day too. They had subliminal advertising where they'd have in the movie, they would slip in a screen as you're watching the movie in one frame. It would say they'd stick in like a box of Milk Duds. Sure. Then the next thing you know, half the theater is out in the hallway buying Milk Duds because they found that it had such a powerful effect. You didn't even know what you're saying. It's moving way too fast for it to register on your eye. One frame of Milk Duds, and next thing you know, people, it's first opportunity, they're out there buying the oversized movie theater Milk Duds, undersized, overpriced. Only they have that size, right? Only in the movie theater, and it's twice the size, 7 times the price. You buy your Milk Duds, and they found that it was so powerful, they made it illegal in the United States because they felt that the consumers did not have a chance against it. That's how powerful subliminal advertising is. To a certain extent, I heard this from Rabbi Leff, to a certain extent, that's what mitzvah do. Did you feel effect? You put on tefillin this morning. Did you feel an effect? I put on tefillin, my arm turned blue, but other than that, I didn't really feel effect. Yeah, but your neshama did. At some level, it's affecting you. All mitzvahs are affected at some level. So these messages also, we don't know exactly, but that's what the commentary is, the depth of what's going on. I'm sure they do it, by the way. The fact that it's illegal doesn't mean they don't do it. Go say you got to have somebody stand there looking at every frame in the movie to check if it's what he called. But they found it was so powerful. It was so powerful they had to make it illegal because they felt consumers cannot consumers are being taken advantage of. Now, Yaakov says to the agents, okay, I want each one of you as you go ahead. I want you to let Esav know that I'm on my way. Now, and take a look at page 174, and there's a very, very powerful, I've mentioned this, I think I've mentioned this, but it's such a strong idea that I heard from, in the name of Tzvi Meyer Zilberberg. This is as fundamental to our overall service as any idea that I've ever heard in Chumash. Just pure fundamental. Yaakov gets up in the morning, he gets up at night, and he crosses them over a river. In Pasuk 23 on page 174. Vayakam balaylahu, he gets up on that night. Vayikach eshtei nashav eshtei shifchos, he takes his 2 wives and his 2 maidservants. V'esachadasar yeladav, vayavor isma v'yabok. He crosses the Yabok River. Vayikachem vayavir mesanachal, vayavir es kol shelo. He brings everything across this river. And then 2 lines from the bottom, page 174, 2 lines from the bottom. Vayivoser Yaakov levado. Yaakov remains alone. Vayavek ish imo ad olos hashachar. A man battles with him until dawn. And Rashi points out who was this man who battles with him? Saro shel Esav. He is the ministering angel of Esav. Now it doesn't say that; it just says a man. It just says a man. But our tradition, you ask any Cheder child, who did Yaakov wrestle with you? They'll tell me Yaakov wrestled with the angel, even though the Torah says a man. It was the angel of Esav. And they battle, they battle until dawn. Now let's read a few psukim here, and then we're going to come back and analyze this. The man saw that he could not overcome him. Vayiga bekaf yerecho, he hits him in the thigh. Vateka kaf yerech Yaakov beyav koima. Yaakov's thigh joint is dislocated in this fight. And then the man says, Vayomer shacheni ki ala shachar, send me off for morning has broken. Vayomer lo ashalecha chakim berachtan, I'm not going to send you off until you bless me. Okay, so you have a fight over here. Man's trying to overthrow Yaakov, and he can't do it. He's fighting with him through the course of the night. Commentaries, I mean, all the commentaries. It's such a. I don't even know where the line crosses between the plain meaning and the commentaries because it's such a common explanation. Night always represents exile. Night is when things are bleak. Night when things don't look good. Yaakov fights with Esav's angel through the night, representative of the Jewish battle through exile with the Esavs of the world. All through exile, we will be battling with the Esavs of the world. When does the battle end? When the dawn comes. When the dawn comes, obviously the Messianic era. Night always represents when things are negative. One of the best meaning, but not unwise, well-meaning but unwise pieces of advice you're going to get when you get married is that you should never go to sleep angry. Always work things out before you go to sleep. Unwise. The best thing you can do when you're angry, you're upset at night, you're upset with your spouse, the best thing you can do is you agree that we're upset, let's go to sleep. Just go to sleep. Wake up in the morning, you're not cranky, you're not tired. At night, it'll be a slugfest, take 2 hours, you'll end up saying something you wish you hadn't, or that you wish you had said earlier, and you'll end up saying something you wish you hadn't, and then everybody regret. You wake up in the morning, everything is fresh, then you can apologize to your wife, you say to her, I'm sorry for letting you get me upset, and get out the door real quick after you say that, by the way. Right? Just say, everything, in 10 minutes, the whole world, at night, everything looks bleak, in the morning, outside, it looks good. That's the exile. Yaakov battles it, but look what the battle is. This is such a, it should give you the goosebumps. What is Yaakov trying to do, or what's his angel trying to do? Yaakov's just trying to stand there. The angel's he's not trying to overthrow the angel. He's just the angel is trying to overthrow, Yaakov's just trying to survive. Does this sound like anything familiar? We go through this every day. All we want to do is live. And the enemies are trying to, we're not going in there and invading them for no reason. We go live. We don't care what you do. Do whatever you want and just leave us alone. That's all we care about. We're not against, we've never had a goal of going out and destroying the nations of the world. It's not our job. We don't care. Do what you want to do. We don't care. Just leave us alone. And they only have one goal, throw down the Jew. That's all. Look at the battle in Israel right now. Go to Gaza, go to Jordan. We don't care what you do over there. Go take care of each other. We don't care. And they come to us to throw. All we're doing is, all we want to do is we want to stay up. We want to stay upright. That's all we want to do. Okay? That's one of the ideas the commentators all talk about. The night is always the exile. Now there's another idea. Rashi points out on the word Vayavek ishimo. Do you know what the word avak means? What does avak mean? Avak means dust. We even find that in Lashon Hara, there's hardcore Lashon Hara. Hardcore, you know what Lashon Hara is? Yeah, Lashon Hara is an inappropriate speech. And then there's what's called avak Lashon Hara, the dust of Lashon Hara. The dust of Lashon Hara is what we would call you get an assist. Right? It's something where you didn't really say something wrong, but it created a situation. Let's say I know there's somebody you don't like. You don't like Plony. I say, hey, Alex, I saw Plony yesterday. And Alex, that's exactly what happens. And Alex just goes, I hate that guy. Now that's Lashon Hara, but I got the assist. I say it. That's called, when I do that, that's called avak lashon hara. If we're sitting at a table, a bunch of us are sitting at a table, I bring up somebody's name. I say, hey guys, I saw Ruvain yesterday, and somebody cranks someone out. Ugh, Ruvain, right, like that. So you just spoke lashon hara, but for me it's avak lashon hara, because the halacha is don't bring up names in a large group of people. There's bound to be somebody who's going to say something disparaging. If it's an individual, and I know you don't like the individual, and if it's a group of people, even if I don't know if that any of you dislike him, we could assume somebody's going to have to say so. Nobody could get off with too much. He also says don't excessively praise somebody, even in one-on-one. You don't dislike Ruvain. Yeah, you're okay with him. And I say, oh, I saw Ruvain. What a great guy. Good looking, smart, all that. And it's eaten away. You know, does anybody say that about me? You know, and eventually you'll have to say like, yeah, but he's got messy handwriting. You know, you got to find something negative. You can't take too much good about it. So that's called avak. That's the dust. That's the dust of lashon hara. The only time you're allowed to say something public about somebody is if you know that he's a perfect tzaddik, that he's a well-known tzaddik. You could talk about the Chafetz Chaim, talk about Rabbi Feinstein, talk about me. Anybody who you know is a perfect tzaddik. Then you could talk in public. There's no danger that anybody in the table is going to say anything. Right, gentlemen? Right, gentlemen? There's nobody danger that anybody's going to say anything negative about those three people. Therefore, you're allowed to do. That's called avak. So when it says Vayei avek Yishuba, a man wrestled with him. So if we wanted to translate loosely, how does the ArtScroll translate? The ArtScroll translate wrestle. I would translate, he dusted with him till morning. Why is wrestling called dusting? Why is wrestling? Why does the Torah use that, a form of that verb? He dusted with him till morning. Why dusted? Where does that come from? The answer is that, imagine we're wrestling, our feet are jockeying for position. What happens when you're jockeying for position? The dirt, you start kicking up the dirt. Right, you're moving your feet around. You're kicking up the dirt. Vayavik, they kicked up dirt. Till morning. They kicked up dirt. You're jockeying for position. Now, listen to this. The Medrash says, how high up did that dirt go? They kicked up dirt. How high did the dirt go? Like anybody cares. You know, what does it help you to know? Wow. Oh, 6 feet. Wow, that must have been some wrestling match. You know, the Medrash says, you know how high the dirt went? It went all the way up to God's throne.
Yeah, so this wasn't real.
To the Kisei HaKavod. There are those who say that it was a prophecy. We agree that, you know, the Medrash says the dust went up to God's throne. Real, it was. Literal, perhaps not. But the Medrash uses that expression. You know enough about Medrash. We've learned enough Medrash to know if the Medrash says that they're trying to communicate something, because none of us really care. We're not measuring dust. So why does the Medrash say the dust goes up to God's throne? There's something remarkable. The answer is because in our day-to-day life, how do we get judged? We don't get judged on results. We get judged on effort. Yaakov is fighting the evil inclination. You know how hard that fight, you know what that did? It kicked up dust to God's throne. You know what that means? His fight against evil inclination, that's the greatest merit he has. That goes all the way up to God's throne. You fought the evil inclination, that goes up to the divine throne. He hit you in the thigh, okay, you took it. You fell once in a while. Okay, you had a setback. That's life. You fought him. You tried. You made the effort. Straight to the Kisei HaKavod. That's what a Jew always has to keep in mind. My job is not results. My job is to try and make the effort. Results, but I have to try. But it applies to everything. It applies in a personal battle endeavor. And it applies, let's say a guy decides he wants to start a yeshiva. Or Ted was telling me yesterday, a guy wants to start a shul. Right? So you go to the neighbors, collect money, you go run around. The project doesn't go. There are people who have tried building projects for the community. They tried building a school and never made it. They built a mikveh, never made it. And they tried. You tried, you get rewarded for the effort. You didn't succeed, HaKadosh Baruch Hu decides if you're going to succeed or not. That's not your goal to succeed. Sometimes people mix up the goal, and because they think they got to succeed in the goal, so then they use questionable means to get to the goal. That's not Judaism. We don't resort to questionable means, no matter how admirable the goal is. There was once a yeshiva being run by two Rosh Yeshivas. So they came to Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. They had a problem. The yeshiva had short funding, like most yeshivas in the world. And they came to Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. They said, there's some sort of plan that they have where if they twist a little this way and twist a little that way, they could get some money out of the government and they'll keep the yeshiva in the green. It just means a little bit of, a little shtick here and a little shtick there. And Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky was the wrong person to ask. He was known as being meticulous. Of all people, they picked just the wrong person. And Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky said, no, you can't do that. You don't build a yeshiva on shtick. You build a yeshiva on honesty and on truth, not on devious, not on all sorts of shtick. Even if you don't build a yeshiva like that. So they said to him, but then we'll have to close if we can't do that, we may have to close the yeshiva. So Yaakov said to him, who said you have to have a yeshiva? Who said you have to have a yeshiva? You're starting from a given. I have to have a yeshiva, so let's bullshit. Maybe you don't have to have a yeshiva. You can't do it right. What are you helping HaKadosh Baruch Hu for? You do what you have to do. It didn't work out, so obviously HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't want you to have a yeshiva. Who said you have to go pull shtick? In your own personal life, have a Yetzer Hara. You have a Yetzer. We all have a Yetzer Hara. He's up earlier than we are. He's up at Nate's every morning, Yetzer Hara. He's up at Nate's and he helps us to stay in bed. He'll be the, oh, you got a Yetzer Hara? Fight him. But I don't always win. He's hard, he's tough. Right, that battle, you're feeling some difficulty? Good, right now you're at the Kisei HaKavod. Pose. Take a selfie right in front of the Kisei HaKavod, because that's where he is right now. He's up there with you at the Kisei HaKavod. I heard Rav Hutner, I don't know if you ever, Rav Yitzchak Hutner was one of the Gedolei Ador, so he was learning in the Slobodki Yeshiva. So Rav Hutner was learning by himself in the Beis Medrash. So the Alter Slobodker came over to him, he said to him, Yitzchak, why don't you have a chavrusa? He said, I do have a chavrusa. I said, who's your chavrusa? He said, the Yetzer Hara is my chavrusa. I said, what do you mean? He says, look, I've had other chavrusas, sometimes they come late, sometimes they miss a day. The Yetzer Hara, I learn with him, he's there every day on time. He's there with me every day on time of the Beis Medrash. He's my chavrus. Right? That's the battle. I remember I heard this from a friend of mine, Five Wartel. He told me, Shem Rav Meyer, I was buzzing. I was buzzing. Because we often judge ourselves based on results. That's not our job. Our job is to try. You try, you're at the Kisei HaKavod.